Apparently, this team gets straight A's on PvPoke and I couldn't resist but make a video around this team. We're talking about a line pretty strong for the entire meta of Jungle Cup, having Vigoroth up in front, Clodsar and Mantin at the back, so obviously we're gonna be looking at a very strong team. So here comes now a move from that Victory Bell, but I get the feeling that we can easily reach to the Stone Age if we want to, and I do not want to get in the situation that they counter me with a Mad Boy after they throw the move, so I'm just gonna let the move go through. Instead though, we meet up with a Mantin which decides to go for that Bubble Beam, and this is very good for me because even though we are gonna be debuffed, at the same time we can apply so much pressure with the Stone Edges. Now this Mantin is gonna be in a pretty rough shape, especially when they have to throw some Bubble Beams to finish us off. Now that we go down, we can easily return into the battle with our Vigoroth coming back from that lead matchup, and now we're just gonna switch out immediately to our Mantin because we see their own switch out to that Victory Bell. I have to throw here and not completely farm down because those Razor Leaves are still adding up in damage, and perhaps we can keep those two shields for their final Pokemon. To my surprise, they do not bring their final Pokemon but instead go for the mirror, which is kinda problematic for my thoughts because I cannot imagine what they might be having at the very end. Most probably not something like a lantern, but let's see what it is, and here comes Altaria. Before we go down, we hold on to those IVs and we can get to the Ice Beam to deliver massive damage on the Altaria, and right after, before they farm us down, we're gonna reach our hands to the Body Slam and of course grab the first victory to get the video going. Into the next battle now with another Dragon type, this type with a Shadow Dragonite. This Pokemon under shielding can do so much work with its moves, but hopefully we can always outspeed to that first charge attack. So here comes now the shield on my Body Slam, and this is what you need to do as well. Go straight for those Body Slams because Shadow Dragonite is always super glassy that even the Body Slam in combination with a few counters can actually take it out. So here comes now the second one. They want to double block here, and before the farming down, I'm just gonna switch out to my Clodsar. Doing so, we can absolutely draw out something like a Mad Boy, so here it is, trainers, and of course we can go ahead and double shot this Pokemon with a couple of Earthquakes. However, I get the feeling that a Mad Bomb or a Scald will just finish us off on the second try, so I'm just gonna go down in the process. Good news here is that they went for Scald, which means that perhaps Mantin now can absolutely farm down all the way since they are energy dry. I'm just gonna predict here that they're gonna use two of those charge attacks, which means that we can easily survive them and still guarantee the farm down in the process with those wing attacks. As you can see here, my Mantin doesn't have Bubble Beam, but still I need to switch out on my Vigoroth to clear those debuffs and perhaps catch the Dragon Claw from the Dragonite matchup, which is coming up on my way for sure. So Dragonite here for the Dragon Claw, we catch the move, and at the same time we can have the upper hand now with the shield and Mantin getting so much energy on its back. So here comes now the Ice Beam on the Shadow Alolan Mach, which is a Pokemon that I haven't seen in a while in action, leave aside in Jungle Cup, and now another Ice Beam, this time to deliver the fatal blow on that poor Dragonite. What a crazy battle with our Mantin emerging as the clutch closer for us. Into the next battle now with a Whiskas up in front. All we need to do here is to go at it with our Body Slams, and I guess that at this point those Scalds might be their main way to go. So what you want to do here is to throw always on that CMB tile. So do not throw when you get on the Body Slam, throw on the 6th counter of yours, because at the same time they're gonna get on the Scald, so you can always play around it. So here comes now my Body Slam to drop them severely low, and sometimes with this team you need to go aggressively and win that lead advantage, because having the lead and switch advantage will mean that you can easily manipulate the backline with proper alignment. So over here I'm just gonna let my Vigoroth go down because I do not want to spend a double shield on this incident, and of course we can charge up some nice amount of energy on our Clodsar. So at the back they have a Chestnut, which is a Pokemon that I do not like at all for my team, especially when I lose that switch advantage. And now that we can get our hands on the Ice Beam, I guess that Mountain is gonna be our main way to go, even up against that poor Chestnut. So another move is coming off at this point, but I have to block obviously because I need to get as fast as I can to those Aerial Aces. So here comes out the first one, but I get the feeling that perhaps they can get now to their own move, and of course having no Sludge Bomb on my Clodsire might mean that I need to throw a couple of Earthquakes to potentially take it out, but still they resist my moves, so we're not looking that strong over here. It all depends now on if they can outspeed us here to a couple of Regiplants in return, because the first one is imminent, and let's see how much damage it will do. Almost about a half of our proper HP, and I guess that here the Earthquake has to do absolutely clutch damage, and we can, because otherwise we could actually lose this one. Into the next battle with a rank 19 trainer, which means that this trainer might actually be on a very good spot on their elo. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw here my Body Slam. I think that this Venusaur can survive one, but the second will always be kinda problematic for them, but at the same time I do not want them to catch at one of their backline Pokemon. That's why I'm gonna throw as soon as I get there, and as it seems my opponent decides to block here because they want to have the upper hand with the energy advantage. However, I decide to block in return as well because I know how much damage this Plant can do, and perhaps knowing from before what we did, what was our mistake, we need here the switch advantage no matter what with this team. Nidoqueen once again coming into the game, and Nidoqueen is a Pokemon that has risen in popularity lately, and I do not know why. Perhaps someone out there has made a video around it, so many people have started using it, and it makes a lot of sense because it can absolutely destroy down Vigoroth as well. So now at the very end they end up having Lantern, so getting here the switch advantage was absolutely a clutch move for us, because now we have our Clodsire over the electric type Pokemon, and of course Vigoroth over that Nidoqueen, but at the same time you can already tell that we can easily farm down, and those sparks on the poison moves are not gonna be enough to finish us down. So down they go eventually, and we can get out of here almost with the Earthquake. My opponent knows that, and they will just back out. Into the next battle now with a very bad lead up against the Scrafty. Just gonna switch out now to my Clodsire, and obviously this is kinda good for us that they stay in, because whatever they throw can easily be manageable by our bulk. But at the same time it makes me thinking that perhaps the other two Pokemon might be extremely weak to my Clodsire, and I have revealed it a little bit too early, but of course I couldn't do otherwise because this is my main safe switch. So now Earthquake is gonna do a lot of damage, I guess, on this Crafty. They're not gonna get their hands on the double block, and now that with those Machots we can do extreme pressure on their end, they have to throw some moves. However, it ends up being just a power punch, which means that we can absolutely survive it, and now with the Stone Edge we can finally take them out. Now they have a Clodsire of their own, and we're just gonna keep going at it with a Stone Edge before we go down. However, we cannot draw that final seal. Perhaps they were counting, perhaps they got that risky element, but still whatever they felt that they had to do, it absolutely worked by not blocking my Stone Edge. So here comes now another move. I'm just gonna take it, I know I can survive, and now switch out to my Mountain. What I did there was to prevent my two seals be spent on Vigoroth, but instead I want to use them wisely on my Mountain. Doing so, we can have the final outcome up against the opposing Mountain here with those Ice Beams, and you can see that we have the energy advantage for sure. Now I'm just gonna get my hands on the Aerial Ace because I get the feeling that perhaps we can push here a lot with a couple of Aerial Aces to finish them down, and why not the shield in the process, and getting the first Aerial Ace means that we can get the final shield out of play. Now that they're getting extremely low though, I'm just gonna get my hands on the Ice Beam, switch out immediately to my Vigoroth to catch the move I knew they were gonna throw because that was their final HP point, and right here now all we have to do is to block the following move, still reach to our Ice Beam and deliver the fatal blow for my opponent. What a great battle that was once again, with Mountain emerging like the perfect closer like it is. Into the next battle now, trainers, with Vigoroth up against Toxapex, another weird lead for us. We do not like those poison type Pokemon, especially when they can hit us with a heavy hitting Sludge Wave. But speaking of Sludge Wave, we managed to catch the move on our Clodsar, and this is looking fantastic for us because now we can absolutely push them to their limits. So here comes now that Stone Edge on that Skarmory, and what I have figured is that both they are a purified version of Skarmory, and at the same time they are using Air Slash instead of Steel Wing. So this means that they need only 5 of those fast attacks to get to the Sky Attack, and perhaps 7, 6, I do not remember at all, to get to the Brave Bird, but nevertheless they have already farmed up to that point. So Brave Bird is imminent and we can still finish them off, as you can see, with our Stone Edge. Unfortunately here we cannot survive like we used to do those poison jabs, so we're just gonna fall short before reaching to a charge attack, and now we're just gonna spam our way to victory with those body slams. However, my opponent here is gonna reach to the Sludge Wave. I was hoping for the Brine, and now it all depends on what they might actually be having at the very end. All we need to do here is to block the Sludge Wave once again. We absolutely nailed it, and now we're having the RLAs coming up from our side to theirs. Time to spend some of their shields, and I guess we can absolutely grab them out of the way pretty easily with our back to back. I don't know how many backs aerial aces are coming up on their end. Another one is coming up, down goes Toxapex and both of them shields. Trevenant at the very end. All we need to do here is to respect the damage from one Seed Bomb and reach to a couple of Rock Slides. But will this be enough, trainers? Because they are still gonna get severely close to a double Seed Bomb. So now Vigoroth can still reach to the Rock Slide. That was an amazing one for us, and Vigoroth will grab this pretty good victory for this battle. Into the last one now, trainers, with Vigoroth up in front facing a mountain. You know what? This is kinda weird for us because they can always beat us down if they want to, but it all depends on if we're gonna go for that bait. But instead they throw once again Bubble Beam. Do you know why everyone is using Bubble Beam? I guess it's not the best move ever offensively, but at the same time that debuff on the offensive stat is so annoying, to be fair. So here comes now another one, and of course all we need to do here is to push them to their limits with another Rock Slide. We finally took a shield out of the game, and I guess that I can survive one more Bubble Beam. So here it comes, trainers, and of course we're just gonna take it with ease. Now before the farm is done, we got one final Rock Slide, and Vigoroth can grab both of them shields out of play. This is looking now super promising for us, and I'm just gonna take whatever move they throw because my mountain here can survive even those ice beams. In the process we might actually get a lot of damage here, so I decide to go for the block, but we end up blocking the Bubble Beam. So I guess Bubble Beam is not that bad of a deal if you're using a mountain on your own. However, with this team I figured out that Bubble Beam would not help me at all because RLAs was pretty good overall as my main charge attack, and Ice Beam for the Flyers or the Dragons like you saw earlier on this video. So yeah, there goes that. Now with Earthquake able to do so much damage on that poor Whiskas, I decide to let my Clodsar go down, but to my surprise we can still survive. Before we go down I was hoping that we can get to the Stone Edge, but unfortunately for us this is not the issue at all. Now this Aqua Tail has to be blocked because we're getting already too low, and we can land now the big Ice Beam for so much damage on that seaweed. Now that we are shieldless, we can still reach to our Ice Beam and hope for the best, and yes, trainers, we can get that amazing victory to end this video in the most positive way possible. If you enjoyed today's content, leave a like before you go, subscribe to the channel, and over here I have 2 videos for you to check out. Feel free to check them out, and I will catch you up later into the next one.